Here's my review of number 3 at the box office, Crime 101. Was it a crime? Parts of it were, but you'll have to find out. Let's go.
Let's fucking go! Let's fucking go. Whoop. Here I come. Oh, here I come.
We will watch your career with great interest.
You are such a cutie.
This is where the fun begins.
It's showtime.
And here we go.
Welcome into another episode of the Movie Geek Podcast. I'm your host, George T., and this is my review of Crime 101. This was one of my top 25 most anticipated, and we're going to get into it. I'm going to try to make it as spoiler-free as possible, but it's kind of hard to do these because I'm not, a spoiler-free kind of guy, but I'm going to try. So, like, comment, subscribe. If you saw it this weekend and, you liked it or hated it, let me know in the comments down below. The critics did like it, and so did I like it? And we'll find out. All right, so we are going to start off with the storyline. So the storyline of this movie is we have Chris Hemsworth's character, Mike Davis. He is a very, I want to say, recluse type of criminal. Very measured, but has a lot of issues, and we'll get into those issues a little later on in the film, or the breakdown. But he is a master thief, and he is plotting out jobs, and is he good at his job? Yeah, very good. He's employed by Nick Nolte, who is kind of like his handler. But his character steals, obviously, from the rich, and kind of like is a Robin Hood of sorts. So there is that. Then you've got Halle Berry playing Sharon Colvin. She is a claims adjuster for one of the big insurance companies for the rich and famous. She's got her own struggles. She's got a boss who has promised her that she would be promoted. She's been there a while. They just brought in some new blood, a younger woman, and we're kind of seeing the send help kind of vibes where Sharon is passed over for a job and kind of wants revenge. Obviously, she's not going to kill anybody. We'll throw that out there. Spoiler alert. So, and then finally, you have Mark Ruffalo, who plays a detective in this film for the LAPD, who is kind of the last of the dying breed, so to speak. He's very conflicted as to his job, and we're going to get into that as we kind of combine the three. So the movie starts off. Hemsworth is researching a job. He is kind of stationed outside and he's parked, by the way, staking out a place, and he is hit from behind by a car. In the car, Monica Barbaro, she plays Maya in this film, gets out of the car and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry that I hit you," even though he was clearly parked. So I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but she wants to exchange information, obviously, for the insurance. Mike tries to pay her off. She's like, "What, you really want to buy off this. No, I kind of need your insurance. So they share information. And then I think the day later, Mike decides to text her to take her to dinner. Before or while they're exchanging, she gives him kind of a look like, he's kind of hot. Maybe I'll, definitely give him my digits and so on. So, yikes. And then they go on a date because Mike texts her to go and take her out. And this, I thought, kind of ruined the movie right away for me, where Maya is asking Mike a whole lot of questions he can't really answer. He's kind of antsy, this, that, and the other. That isn't going to work most times. Ladies, you're definitely not staying around with a kind of a creepy guy. I don't want to say he's creepy, but he's not really engaged. But, in his defense, he's hot. If it was a guy like me, I guarantee that movie wouldn't have had any love interest, and it would have just focused on what the main story was. So that, for me, kind of took a little bit of steam out right away. Then we get to Halle Berry's character, Sharon. So Sharon has, some high-priced clients, and she's working on finalizing some deals with them. And then the new girl, she is on the case for looking at bringing in some new clients. Madeline is played by Crosby Fitzgerald. So again, she's the up and coming hottie in the office, and she's going to start to get a little preferential treatment. And so Sharon's got a lot on her mind with that. She's also being kind of tracked down by Mark Ruffalo's character, the detective, and he is looking into the string of robberies that he cannot figure out, and then some of the clients from Sharon are all so he's trying to connect the dots. Meanwhile, his captain, played by Matthew Del Negro, is trying to hold him back from it. And, he's talked about, well, we kind of have a suspect in mind. We don't really need to go by your theories that these are all connected. And, the detective makes a very good point that they're all being committed on the 101 highway, or near the highway. So he has a hunch and goes with it. But he's not playing ball either, and so they are kind of trying to force him out of his job. So he goes and talks to Sharon, and she's got nothing for him. Meanwhile, Mike is plotting his next heist when a newcomer comes to play. A character named Ormond, played by Barry Cohen, the former Sabrina Carpenter guy. And I have to say that his character was absolutely over the top ridiculous. I don't know if that was the way it was written or he just is a bad actor, but I've seen him in other films, so I don't think it was. I think it was the character he was given, but I think he put way too much into it, and I'll explain. He was very skittish. He was, he acted very impulsively. He just wasn't believable in that he was a master thief. And there's, so he's being sloppy about how, the robbery's going down. Meanwhile, Mike finds out that this happened, and Mike had been staking out that place for a while. Mike goes to Money, who is played by Nick Nolte, and asks why he brought in another guy. And he said, I am going to do one big one here, and then you can send it to the other guy. And, they kind of have a word, uh, a lot of words, and they go from there. But Ormond is now basically following Mike around. So he needs all the information that he has. And he gets it from Devin, played by Devin Bostic. And that is Mike's right-hand man. And basically, then Mike and Ormond, because Ormond tracks down Mike for his information, there is a wild chase with a motorcycle and car after he's following Sharon, because Mike went to go and see Sharon about offering her kind of a deal, because his next heist was going to be stealing from a character named Monroe, played by Tate Donovan. He's getting married, and he's shipping in a whole lot of diamonds and money that is going to be secured in a safe. Sharon does not want to go along with this at first. But when she gets back to the office and her promotion is not given, she decides to contact Mike and be involved in it. So there the characters start to merge. Meanwhile, Maya is still trying to figure out Mike. Mike is very hard to figure out. They do sleep together, and then there was an awkward moment between the two of them in bed, and not sexually, but just trying to understand Mike a little bit more. And it was just a little awkward. So now the detective finds Mike's vehicle, and then he left some DNA in there, some blood, and they track him down to an orphanage, where the last known residence was an orphanage. Detective goes and talks to the woman that's in charge there. She still has some contact with him, which is kind of weird to me, but whatever, it moves the story forward, because Mike is then confronted with his past, and is asked to do the right thing and turn himself in, or just stop altogether. Meanwhile, after that conversation, Detective and Inspector Townsend, played by Drew Powell from Gotham fame, and then Detective Tillman, played by Corey Hawkins, arrive on the scene of another jewelry heist down on the 101, where the suspect comes out, and he's just a kid. Grabs, he's got a whole bag of stuff, and then Townsend decides to shoot him point blank. And while Detective and Tillman are trying to figure out what just happened, Townsend plants evidence on the kid and calls it in, and now he's faced with his own decision. So Townsend's account was that he pulled the gun and he was shooting at them, and then he finds out that Tillman rolled on it and said that yes, that was what he saw. So either he had to play ball, or he was going to get fired. And obviously he kind of has to think about it. So right now they're all on suspension, so he's going to do everything he can by himself at this point to figure out the rest. So eventually Mike gets all this information from Sharon about Madeline's guy who's getting married, which is Monroe, and plans eyes. He doesn't really feel comfortable about it, but when the dollar amounts Sharon gives, he is in. Ormond is in it as well, as he chases down Sharon and beats her up. And now she gets detective involved, and she gives him all the information that she gave Mike. And then this kind of took me a little bit by surprise. So um, Mike knows that this guy is coming in with all these diamonds for this wedding. Somehow he finds the um, the pickup area, and winds up taking his driver's identity. And again, I'm not sure why there was not more security around the driver in this case, or even like more security at the airport when you've got a big international um, jewelry delivery. But anyway, he poses as the driver, and before the plane exits, the guy is escorted off. So you kind of know that at that point, detective is going to take over in his place. So at that point, I was a little surprised that Mike, who had been very methodical and knew everything, Sharon sent him a picture of what the guy looked like. So why did he let it play out with the detective? Now they had a very interesting conversation back and forth. So he knew, but at the same time, I'm like, why go through this charade? Both of them, actually. So so now we get to the wedding, or just before the wedding, when they deliver him up to the room, and that's when Mike turns the gun and just wants the money, and then he was going to leave. He didn't want to shoot anybody, didn't want to kill anybody, just wanted the money. So Tate's fiance decides to tell him where the money is. She pulls it out. Meanwhile, Ormond has entered the building as one of the help for the hotel. He winds up going all the way up top, all the way up to the 10th floor where they are, gets the key code and busts in. Now, I would have figured he would have started shooting. Instead, he started his little spasm things, grabbed Mike, pushed the detective to the other side, and then demanded, all the jewels and all the money and whatnot. And then he winds up shooting Monroe in the shoulder. And I'm like, okay, this is getting out of hand now. I'm like, who thought this character was any good? Or, again, was it just bad acting in this part? Or was it written that way? It's hard to know. So, eventually, so detective opens the briefcase up, and there are those diamonds in there, and watches, like really, really expensive watches. So basically, they were going to be gifts for the guests, and that case was worth like $5 million. So he was going, was Mike going to take it, and then, they were going to make money off of it, or was he just going to take the money? We don't know at that point. So Mike makes a play on Ormond and is able to shoot him in the back. And then there is the stare down between Mike and the detective while Monroe is yelling, "Can you do something? You are a cop." So detective decides to look at Mike and say, "You are not going to shoot anybody. You don't want to shoot anybody." but I'm going to give you a choice. You either walk out of here right now, lower that gun, and leave, and never come back. Or it could end badly, because my boys in blue are on their way. Although he said our boys are on their way, I don't think so, because again, I don't know how much longer he was actually going to be in the police force after he was basically given an ultimatum: either follow with the corruption or leave. So who knows? But obviously, Mike gets away, and then kind of decides almost to leave, but he winds up coming back. Now, Detective gives Sharon a little gift. He actually took a bag of those diamonds that was probably worth the cut that she wanted from Mike's cut of the robbery. And also, while they were having the conversation in the car, the detective was gifted from Mike his car. They were talking about what kind of cars they liked, and it just so happened that Mike had that specific car the detective was looking for, and he gifted it to him. But the last bit of thing was Maya. He winds up kind of getting into the mailroom where she works, delivers a envelope with her name on it, and inside is a picture of his, I guess, 3 brothers. We don't really know, because we don't really get into why, but Maya was always asking about, who he was, what he did he have any family, and he was always very like, I really didn't have any family, I don't have friends, and she's like, you don't even have pictures of anything, not even yourself. So it kind of ends with Maya looking for Mike, and that's how it ends. So I think overall the story was good, but it was lost in 2 major issues. One, the love story between Mike and Maya, just that doesn't happen. I mean, and if it does, great. But if Mike was not Chris Helmsworth and he was me, would we really be having this conversation right now? Probably not. And then Ormon's character, so Barry's character, because there are just times where he is so over the top, it's hard to take him seriously as a bad guy. Like, he's not smooth at all. He's more like, hopped up on Red Bulls, probably. At the end of the chase scene where he literally runs into the front of the car, flips the motorcycle and himself so high into the air, and then lands, and you're thinking, whoa, he just killed himself. And then all of a sudden he just kind of like gets up, and he's kind of walking slowly, and I'm like, how? What? Like, he's just walking this off, like, no broken bones whatsoever? Like, I'm so confused. And then he's, flipping the bird to Mike, because he knows, like, at any point Mike could get out of the car and whoop him, or he could run him over, for Christ's sakes. But he doesn't. He chases him into, the back of a convenience store, and, pumps him for information, and then just leaves. While, Ormond just falls to the floor and just kind of. So, again, he got up with adrenaline and basically had no broken bones or anything. Like, it's kind of crazy to me. So there's two major plot points that I just probably, if you make Barry's character a little bit stronger and a little bit more believable, I could see. I could see this as better. And then the storyline between Mike and Maya. We all know that you know, insurance companies can be very crooked. We also know that there's been so many instances of LAPD, you know, cover-ups and all that other stuff. So again, it's not new news. It's, you know, kind of like lazy, like, okay, it's LAPD. Well, we're going to cover up crime. Okay. So did I like the film? I did. I had a lot more expectations for it, though. I really thought it was going to be better. And, you know, sometimes that happens. And again, with and I didn't read any of the reviews beforehand, but the critics really loved it. So, you know, it's hard. And again, I haven't read the reviews yet, so I want to see what they say, but not for this show, obviously. But again, I think if they had just really not if they put Maya and Mike in a different situation, like they met somewhere accidentally, or he was tracking her and then kind of fell in love with her because she's cute. Okay, I can see that. But just the way they met with the car crash, and then, you know, she's basically pumping him for information and he can't give her any. What woman is going to stay around for that? So my review is it'll be an even, meaning it's watchable, but it is not as good as I was really anticipating. I really had high hopes for this movie. But it's definitely worth a watch because the story is good. You know, Mike is kind of that Robin Hood type where he is stealing from high price things, but Nick Nolte's money guy, his boss, is, you know, giving back to the community from all that stuff that they're stealing. So, you know, again, the story itself is good, and, you know, maybe those two plot points, if they were keyed up, would make it definitely a 1 star, maybe even a 2. So again, if you've seen this movie this weekend, or whenever you see this, drop me a comment, even a like if you did like the review for it. So got a lot more stuff to come, guys. You know, Oscars and Razzies are coming up, so we've got prediction shows on those. And then obviously I'm going to try to live stream, so both Razzies and the Oscars, we'll see how that goes. But tune in. I've got probably shorts coming out all weekend, and you guys have been great. So I will see you all at the movie.
You like that, baby? Let him know where I came from, yeah!
See you next time. Bye.
Waiting for you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye. Goodbye. Hasta la vista, baby.
That's all, folks.